What's up, everybody? It's Ryan, and I'm bringing you some multiplayer from The Last of Us today. And, unfortunately, this multiplayer does not have cinema mode, so only those of us who are lucky enough to have, capture devices are going to be able to upload multiplayer footage from this game. And so I figured I'd show you this game. It wasn't, it's not the best game I've ever played. It's not the most points I've ever gotten. But it illustrates a point that I want to make, and that is that you do not have to be the most talented killer on your team to be the most helpful. And so the way I like to play is I use two boosters. I use, what is it called? First Aid Training 2. So when you see me bandaging my teammates, you have to have First Aid Training 2 to be able to do that. And every time you bandage them, you get 20 supplies, and so you can actually get a lot more supplies through bandaging than you can through killing, if you're effectively supporting your team and assuming that, there are competent people on the other team who can actually damage your teammates. And so this was a match where we actually started off doing really well, and then the other team kind of caught on to our tactics and changed what they were doing, and it ended up being pretty close in the end. But anyway, back to the boosters that I use. Sorry, I'm a little scatterbrained. First Aid Training 2, and then also I use Crafter 2. Actually, I think I use Crafter 3 now because I unlocked an extra loadout slot. But Crafter 2 or 3 allows you to not only craft things quicker, which is helpful, but also for every 3 items you craft for Crafter 2 and for every 2 items you craft for Crafter 3. Sorry if that's confusing, so in this match I'm using Crafter 2, so I'll just talk about it that way. So for every 3 items I'm crafting, I'm getting a gift to give teammates, and that's kind of a randomized gift. It might be a Molotov, it might be a first aid kit, it might be a nail bomb. It's just random, but it's really helpful to your team if you're able to give them a Molotov when they really need one. And so and you also get, 30 points for crafting and also 100 points for gifting. So, yeah, like I said, playing the support role can get you, in the end, a lot more points than just killing would be able to. I've seen teammates who have, 10 downs, 8 executions, and yet they won't finish nearly as high as me or some of my other teammates that like to use these support boosters. And so that's one of the things I really like about this multiplayer is that, for one thing, it's really team-based. You need to be with friends. You need to be communicating. You need to be sticking together if you want to be successful. Occasionally you might be successful in lone wolfing it, but most of the time not. If you're outnumbered, you're going to get gunned down like you just saw right there. It was 2 against 1. Down I go. And so you need to have a group of people that you trust to play with, or you're not going to have as much success in this multiplayer. And so, I'm fortunate enough to have a large group of friends to where I almost always have somebody to play with, because I couldn't imagine playing this by myself. And so that's the first thing, And I mean, even if you don't have friends to play with, you can still be on your mic, because a lot of people have mics, and just communicate with your team. Tell them, hey, I'm going this way, back me up, or I'll back you up, or whatever. Communication is really more key in this multiplayer than any other that I've seen. Almost. I mean, I haven't played as many multiplayer games as some, but this is definitely... Out of all the multiplayer games I've played, this is the one where playing as a team matters the most, and I really like that about it. And so, so that's one thing I like, that it's very much based on teamwork. And the second thing I like is what I was saying before. You can get points or supplies. I forget what exactly they call it. It's not salvage. That's Tomb Raider. I think it's called supplies. Yeah, you can get supplies through helping your teammates, and it's not just killing that matters. And the other cool thing is, if you have a really good game and your team loses, you still might get enough supplies to be able to support your clan, which is kind of the goal of each game, is to get enough supplies to support your clan so that you're not losing people. and you don't have to necessarily win the game to be able to get enough supplies. And that's another really cool feature.
You're good. Now get your ass up.
Is that overall it's about how well you did, and you're not going to be overly punished for losing the match overall. It's just, you know, how much supplies you gathered. And so I think that's cool. And, you know, like I was saying, being able to play the support role and yet getting, you know, just as many points, if not more, than people who are better at killing, for me, is a big positive, because for those of you who've played multiplayer with me, you'll know I'm not the best player in the world. I have my moments where I can have a really good game, but overall, killing is not my forte. And so it's nice to have a game where I don't have to be the best killer on the team to be able to win. And so here you see me gifting. I've got a couple gift boxes to give people.
Thanks.
And so, yeah, there you see 100 points for each gift. Again, sorry, really scatterbrained. So, yeah, I'm not the best at killing. And in this multiplayer, that's okay. And so I really like that about it. And yeah, so what else can I say? I guess the advice I can give you is to just, you know, if you have a group of people, you know, pick a couple people who are going to be the team healers and support, because overall you need a well-rounded team. Maybe you'll have a guy who's got mainly stealth mechanics and he can go around kind of picking people off, but you're going to need medic support. And I don't use silenced weapons on this class because I just find, you know, silenced weapons, for one, are more expensive. They take up a lot of loadout spots. I would rather, you know, use those loadout spots for, you know, my support boosters. And so I just use the semi-automatic rifle and the revolver, and I do pretty well with them. You know, my goal is not to be silent as this character. And so I find that you know, it really doesn't matter on this type of loadout if you're using a silenced weapon or not. And so just use whatever is comfortable to you, whatever you have room for. And then, of course, there are people that I play with who, you know, don't really support, and they're really good at killing, and so that's what they do, and they're very successful. But for me, I've had the most success. You know, I've had, I think, a 6,000 point game before using this strategy, and it's just very, very awesome. It's an awesome feeling to know that. And on this game, you'll see I get the top score on the team, and I'm nowhere near the top of the team in killing. It's you know, the support gave me by far enough points to finish on top of the team, and that's kind of why I picked this game, to show you guys when I was talking about this. So yeah, you know, you'll see when the scoreboard pops up. But yeah, like I said, this was I guess, you know, watching it now, it was a pretty close game all the way. I mean, we were always ahead, but not comfortably ahead. And so yeah, this was actually a really good, really challenging game. And I wasn't with a full team of 4 on this one. There's that guy in front of me was a random, but he didn't Rambo it too much, so that was good. But still, I was with 2 friends, and I always play with at least one friend, because, like I said, I can't imagine playing this by yourself, and I've done it a couple times, and just it's no fun at all when you have a team that's not communicating and you can't really trust them. So I always play with friends, and I recommend you do the same as long as you can. So yeah, what else can I talk about? Let's talk about the single player. Spoilers. No, just kidding. I'm not going to spoil the single player. But the single player was awesome. I'll just say that much. I loved it. I would probably say this was the best game I've played all year. And that includes BioShock Infinite. And so, you know, I think BioShock Infinite was almost as good as The Last of Us, but just not quite. And so, yeah, this is definitely my favorite game so far of this year.
That was my last shot!
Man, it's been a good year for gaming. And, you know, going back to the multiplayer here, I was kind of afraid that when I heard that this multiplayer only had 2 modes, that it would be kind of boring and we'd get tired of it real quick, kind of like Tomb Raider. And I'm happy to say it's nothing like that. Now, so while this multiplayer may not have the variety that Uncharted's multiplayer has, it's definitely got a lot more replay value than I originally gave it credit for, and I'm so happy about that. So I'm foreseeing myself playing this at least for the next few months into the future. And if they release more modes via DLC, I hope they release a co-op mode. That would be great. But I hope they'll release at least another mode or 2, in addition to the maps that are being included in the season pass. And I did buy the season pass. I think probably for the extra single player content alone, that'll be worth it. But yeah, so definitely looking forward to more of this game. Seeing them bringing more maps, hopefully more modes. Like I said, the infected are absent from the multiplayer so far, and so I'm hoping there's a mode, and I would say probably co-op that would work the best, but a mode that brings in the infected, and that we're able to fight them via co-op. I think that would be a ton of fun. I've always liked zombie modes in games. I think they're really fun. So if there's some sort of horde mode coming for this game, I'll keep my fingers crossed. I hope there is, but I will definitely, buy it if we have to pay for it. Hopefully they wouldn't do that, but we'll just have to see. And you can see I got a little greedy here and went for supplies before going to revive my teammate, and that's never a good idea. I actually would have had more points for reviving him, because you can always go back for supplies. You can't go back for a revive. And so, yeah, that was a mistake on my part, I'm not uploading this game because I was perfect. I'm just uploading it because it illustrates kind of the way I'm playing at the moment, and I think I've had a lot of success, a lot of success playing this way. And so I just wanted to show you guys. And so I'm actually going to skip forward about a minute here because I ended up going back for a chest, and it was just pretty uninteresting. So skipped forward. We're pretty much at the end here. But they did get us down to sudden death, but unfortunately they only had 1 player left, so we were able to persevere and win the game. So let's check it out. JT, you need healing, man. He was almost dead. And when you get so many points for healing if their health is almost down to the bottom, it's amazing. Uh-oh. He killed our random. Oh! And there you have it. So there you see I had the top score through, not doing so well in killing, but supporting my team definitely helped us win and got me a lot of points. So there you have it. Try that out if you haven't already. Let me know in the comments how you like to play. Do you use the same thing? Do you have different tactics? Let me know. Thank you for watching, everybody, and I will see you on the next video. Later.